radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
All right, good evening. Fade to Black. Bespoke Radio for the masses. Yeah, man. Holy crap, here we go. Today's Tuesday, November 3rd, 2020. 308 days into the new year. Only 58 days left. We are live from a bunker somewhere in the middle of beautiful downtown Burbank, California. And I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world. All across the United States. Hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black for KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the Planet. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Here we are, election night in America. Tonight, it's our election night special event. The bottom of the hour, we will be joined by Race Hobbs of KGRA. Race is going to jump in on this very important historic day here in the United States. And later on tonight, astrologer extraordinaire Jeff Harman is going to be here. It's going to be a great night, an amazing night, an historic night. And I want to remind everybody that we may not see the end of things tonight. It's gone a little bit smoother than I would have thought, but we'll get to all of that in just a bit. But tomorrow night, we are doing election night the day after. All right, there has been a lot of talk. We don't know if the results are going to be in tonight. We don't know. If we have listened to the media and polls and both candidates and everything else, that the results of mail-in ballots and delays and the pandemic and everything else, that the tallies may not be in tonight, and they may not be in tomorrow, or we may have to wait maybe a few days. So we don't know what's going to happen tonight. Still don't. It's been very interesting so far, and I'll get to all of that. But tomorrow night, election night, the day after. Also, everything that has been out there in the media, not only in the media and social media, about the possibility of unrest throughout the country, is another reason to do election night the day after tomorrow night, of course. Our concerns are with, not only our audience in the country and the world right now, but we are not going to ignore the reality of the situation here. And of course, we don't do politics on the show, but this is a different situation. This is not only election night, but this is a turning point in history, no matter which way it goes, right? And I think that we fully recognize that. And I need to turn my phone off as alerts are coming in. So there you go. That's what's going on. And of course, Thursday night is another Fader night with open lines all night long. And it's going to be a busy night on the phones. And maybe tonight I'll open up the phone lines at a couple of spots and get some of your opinions about how the night is unfolding in front of us. It's been pretty interesting for the last 3 or 4 hours, hasn't it? It has been absolutely amazing, interesting, fascinating. All right. Let's just get straight to some of the stuff I've got to get out of the way. And that is first Einstein, thecrystalskull.com. Get yourself a crystal skull. Go visit Carolyn Ford. The links are at jimmychurchradio.com. The promo code is Jimmy. And go and do that. Now, also, saw this today on Bloomberg. Billy Carson, his new TV network, and the press release that was out today with Bloomberg was pretty great to see. You can go to forbiddenknowledge.tv. The links are over at jimmychurchradio.com. And get over there and sign up for Billy's network. It's absolutely amazing what he has put together over there. And it's very simple to do. Click on the banners over at jimmychurchradio.com. You can follow me on Twitter at jchurchradio. At jchurchradio. Looking here, JC. 2016 election night, I was at the Black Sabbath The End tour. Yeah, that was. I can't believe that's a really great tweet. That's from JC. Interesting initials there, JC. I wonder if his first name is Jimmy. Interesting. That 4 years have passed since we did our 2016 election night special. 4 years have gone by. Oh man, just mind blowing. Okay, let's get straight to it. Hashtag F2B is the sandbox on Twitter. You can post there, right? You can post right there. That's pretty funny, Michael. You can post right there at JChurchRadio is where you can follow me on Twitter, of course. And then hashtag F2B is our sandbox, and everything happens in real time during the show. And, of course, we have 2 chat rooms open, one over at Spreaker and one over at KGRA The Planet. Race Hobbs of KGRA is going to be joining us at the bottom of the hour. Hello to everybody on YouTube. I bet you guys are going crazy over there. Facebook, hello to everybody there. Bet you're going nuts. Everybody on the Bunker Cam. I had posted somewhere today, I think I made a comment, and maybe it was a reply. I can't remember. Just a busy day, or maybe it was even yesterday. I said, look, the entire world has a dog in this race, right? Everybody is focused on the United States today. Everybody in the world. It's a very, very important day, not only for this country, but for everybody else on this planet. So let's see how things pan out over the next 3 hours live on the air, and we'll see where we are at 10 o'clock tonight, okay? A couple of things. Let's get to some of the breaking news before I start to break down what is actually going on in the election, because some pretty crazy, there's other news going on right now, and it's this. Electricity prices in parts of Norway fell below zero for the second time in history early yesterday, and residents in southern Norway got paid for using electricity, as power producers have to pay to sell electricity when prices go negative. According to Norwegian outlet E24, electricity prices in and around Oslo and Kristiansand were negative for 4 hours in the early hours of Monday. This is the second time in history that electricity prices in Norway have dropped below zero. Back in early July, electricity prices in Norway went negative for about an hour. Very interesting. Now, here we go. You know, this is election night in America. And Expedition 6364 crew member and astronaut Kate Rubins is assigned to a 6-month mission launched on October 14th and will vote from space. It won't be her first time. Rubins also cast her vote from the International Space Station during the 2016 election. Voting in space has been possible since 1997, when a bill was passed to legally allow voting from space in Texas. Since then, several NASA astronauts have exercised this civic duty from orbit. As NASA works towards sending astronauts to the moon in 2024 and eventually onto Mars, the agency plans to continue to ensure astronauts who want to vote in space are able to, no matter where in the solar system they may be. SpaceX to launch their first operational flight of its Crew Dragon astronaut taxi to the International Space Station on November 14th, 2020. Called Crew 1, this will be the second Crew Dragon mission to carry astronauts. NASA astronauts Michael Hopkins, Victor Glover, and Shannon Walker, along with Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency astronaut Soichi Noguchi. It will lift off from Launch Complex 39A at NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida at 7:49 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, if all goes according to plan. Now, check this out. NASA has reestablished contact with Voyager 2. How crazy is this? Voyager 2 is more than 11.6 billion miles from Earth in interstellar space. After the probe was left flying solo for several months while repairs were made to the radio antenna in Australia they used to control it. Now, in 1989, the spacecraft flew over Neptune's North Pole as it made a close flyby when it pushed southward, and it has been heading in this direction ever since. Now, more than 11.6 billion miles from Earth, the spacecraft is so far south of Earth that it doesn't have a line of sight with radio antennas in the northern hemisphere. Interstellar space. That is absolutely crazy. Let's get the show cracking. Happy birthday to today. Dolph Lundgren is 63. Adam Ant is 66. Slipknot guitarist Mick Thompson is 47. And our dead guy's birthday today is John Barry, 1933 to 2011, died at the age of 77. Check this out. John composed scores for 11 of the James Bond films between 1963 and 1987, and also arranged and performed the James Bond theme. That's right. And that in the first film that was used, 1962's Dr. No. He wrote the Grammy and Academy Award-winning scores for the films Dances with Wolves and Out of Africa, as well as The Scarlet Letter, The Cotton Club, The Tamarind Seed, Mary, Queen of Scots, Game of Death, and the theme for the British television cult series, The Persuaders. John won 5 Academy Awards and 4 Grammy Awards for Born Free, The Lion in Winter, Midnight Cowboy, and Somewhere in Time. Barry died of a heart attack on January 30th, 2011, at his Oyster Bay, New York home at the age of 77. On this day in history, 1883, Black Bart makes his last stagecoach robbery, Wells Fargo, by the way, here in California. Fact or fact, Merle Haggard was a 20-year-old prisoner at San Quentin when he saw Johnny Cash play his first concert for inmates in 1958. Cash always told Haggard after that, "You are the everything that people think I am." And that is your Fact or Fact. Tonight is our election night special event. We've got Race Hobbs joining us at the bottom of the hour. And then at the bottom of the next hour, astrologer Jeff Harman is going to join us. Tomorrow night is our election night the day after. Thursday night is another Fader night with open lines all night long. And there you go. I might be able to take some phone calls tonight and stand by for that when I announce the opening of the phone lines. All right. It's election night. Here we go. Let me hit this River Moon coffee. RiverMoonCoffee.com. Makers of the Fade to Black blend. Best coffee in the world. No question about it. Ask anybody that has had the chance and opportunity to drink River Moon's Fade to Black blend or Game Changer blend. It's absolutely the best coffee in the world. This is just incredible. This is coming from a 5-pound bag, by the way. rivermooncoffee.com. All right. Where are we? It's been a crazy day. The first thing that I want to let everybody know that I've got 3 different election and electoral maps open in front of me. And all night long, the numbers have been different. Okay. They've been updating and things, but how different networks and things do their projections and where they get their numbers from and how they want to safely project what is going on. I've been finding that very interesting because I've been updating them and following them from the very beginning. Tonight, when they gave Indiana to Donald Trump, President Donald Trump, in the very, very beginning tonight. It was very interesting. So right now, where are we? According to CNN, Joe Biden has got 89 electoral votes. Donald Trump is sitting at 72. Okay, I'm not going to break down the states yet. In the Senate, they've got 40 Democrats in play. As of right now, with 38 Republicans. Of course, the control of the Senate is 100 senators, and it sits right there at 50. So that's where that is. And then you go to Fox. Right now, the latest update is Fox has got Joe Biden at 129 and Donald Trump at 109 as of 7:18 p.m. Pacific time. And then what is very interesting is you go over to Google. Google has got a live interactive map that is showing the vote count and everything happening in real time. And so does Fox, by the way. But over at Google, Google's got Joe Biden at 131 and Donald Trump at 98. All right. What has been very interesting tonight to see is how they are looking at different states at an individual level and how they're breaking them down. Florida was very close from the get-go tonight. Very fascinating to watch. Now, I look at any presidential election the same, and I've done this since high school, maybe even before, in that I look at it kind of like sports. I just want something fun, competitive, and interesting. Right? Same thing with the boxing, man. I want a good fight, good football game, baseball. Just want something fun to watch, something competitive. And I thought that going back to Obama the first time around, Clinton the first time around, you back all the way up to Ronald Reagan, and in each one of those races, you thought that those were interesting, right? 2016, it didn't get more interesting, really, and here we are in 2020, and I'm walking away with 2 thoughts here, and the first is the polling numbers from 2016, which I think everybody agrees, not only with the polling numbers, but the fake news that was out there at that time. But the polling numbers were just off. Couldn't pay attention to it. This time around, everybody was gun shy, including myself, when mentioning poll numbers or what was going on there. There seemed to be an asterisk. There was a disclaimer after any mention of a poll, right? Don't trust the polls. You can't do that. This time around, the polling seems to have been accurate, or more accurate, I should say, in the way that things are starting to play out here. Now, aside from Florida being as competitive as it was, and nobody's called it yet, Trump is way out ahead in Florida right now, 47.8 to 51.3, and that's according to Fox. If we come over to You see, now, if you go to 4751.3 and 47.8, okay, Google and Fox are reporting the same numbers. That hasn't, they're starting to even out. Let me check one thing really quick. Yeah, 91% on both. And then you go to CNN and you look at Florida, they've got 93% reporting there, and I don't get the discrepancy in the numbers. Also, live on television, which I have a couple of large screens in front of me, the numbers are, they've just been off versus what is happening online. The quickest to respond has been Google tonight. Google updates just about the fastest. So aside from, I think that everything is played out as to what we expected. Okay. What isn't in play yet is, okay, a couple of things I want to announce, but Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, these Rust Belt states, have not fallen the way of the polls. Off. Right? Very interesting. And waiting to see if these would match up back with the poll numbers. No. You know, so looking at the polls and seeing what is actually real. Now, it's still early on. Pennsylvania right now. Let's do some real-time numbers. Pennsylvania, 31% reporting. Donald Trump is ahead, 51.8%. And Biden is trailing at 45.3% with 31% of the vote in. In Michigan, 35% of the vote in. Donald Trump at 55.5%, leading Joe Biden at 42.8%. That's very interesting. And then you swing over to Wisconsin. And Wisconsin, a little closer, but 39% reporting right now. Donald Trump leading 51.6% to Joe Biden's 46.8%. If we go over to Fox, and again, you just got to do like an average. You've got to look at all of this. Fox has got the race a little bit closer in Wisconsin, and Michigan, again, a little bit closer, 55 to 42.7. And the numbers have changed, and now they are even. I've been watching all of this all night long. And then you have Ohio. Ohio all night looked like that was going to flip. And here we are now at 80% of the votes in. Donald Trump leading 52.2% to Joe Biden's 46.4%. Things are looking pretty good for Donald Trump at this point. And again, the Electoral College still has Joe Biden at 129, Donald Trump 109, and over at Google it's 131 to 98, and then over at CNN, very interesting. CNN has just been reticent to do any predictions or stick it out there. They have been behind on the Electoral College numbers, and right now it is still Joe Biden at 89 and President Donald Trump at 72. Now, where are we? And when we come back off of the break, we will bring in Race Hobbs. I know that he has been looking at all of this very closely tonight. Before the show, when I did speak to Race, I said, so how you doing? It was right after the polls started to close. And he said, I don't know what's going on. I had said this all week leading up to this. I don't have a clue. I don't have a clue. I don't. This is fun. This is what America is all about. Today in my Telegraph column, I ended the column with this. I was born in Chicago. My father was a career U.S. Army. I've lived in other countries. I love this country, and I'm an American. You know, and this today, right now, what is happening is what makes this country so great. And you can be an American. You have rights to complain. You have rights to be proud. You have all of those rights and institute change, or maybe you want things to stay the same. Whatever it is, you have those fundamental freedoms here in this country. There are people that say that live here that those things are eroding, or you need to really understand, and this is a fact. The United States is different. And if you want to experience the difference, leave the country, go on a vacation, go live somewhere else for a little bit and feel what it's like to not have freedoms, to be oppressed, to have genuine fear in your life every single day. And then you look back at the United States and you're like, man, the United States is the greatest country in the world. We are the greatest because everybody here is different, and this is how we move forward. That's it. And that's why I love this country so much. Today is a special day, and today is why this is the greatest country on earth. With that, I am going to take a break. This is Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight is our live election night special event, 2020. You know what's going on. It's absolutely crazy. We've got more updates coming up. When I come back after the break, Race Hobbs is here. That's right. On the Game Changer Network and KGRA, The Planet. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Email is jimmy@jimmychurchradio.com. I'll be right back after this short break with my first guest, Race Hobbs of KGRA. Stay with me.
This is Nicole Church, daughter of you-know-who, and you're listening to Fade to Black on JimmyChurchRadio.com and the Game Changer Network.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. Introducing the Game Changer blend from River Moon Coffee that delivers a customized blend made specifically for the Fadernauts. If the game is rigged, change the game. It's a bolder cup with some bite. Game Changer is the coffee of choice for those that prefer an organic dark roast that is slightly lighter and milder, but it's still dark. With wild notes of pecans and chocolate with a rich, balanced, full-bodied cup that is roasted to perfection for a great coffee to start your day, as an after-dinner coffee or anywhere in between. Artisan, small batch roasted to perfection. USDA certified organic, all River Moon coffee is freshly roasted and packaged in the USA. Just go to rivermooncoffee.com or click on the banners over on our site and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. rivermooncoffee.com. Go Beckley Teppy.
This is the only way forward.
This is Fade to Black. Make contact. KGRARadio.com.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and you can get our podcast for just $2 per month. All you have to do is click on the podcast banner over at jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, folks. It's troubling times, and fear is pushing emotions, which in turn pushes health the wrong direction. Do you ever get an ache because life is uneasy? Try Life Change Tea at getthetea.com. Life Change Tea works on your digestive tract, helping to move food through quicker and comfortably so your health is spot on. Life Change Tea may not help with world issues, but it will help with your digestive issues. A glass a day helps keep the intruders away. So, change your life today. Log on to getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. If your health game is off, get on by ordering Life Change Tea. Getthetea.com. And while you're on our site, look around at the great non-GMO organic supplements. And if you're a sales shopper, go to our specials page and see what's for you. I've been drinking the tea for 12 years and I'm sure glad for its health benefits. Again, that's getthetea.com. Getthetea.com. The tea that makes you go.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, The Planet.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
All right. Welcome back, Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Ray says, I'm here. Tonight is our election night 2020 special event. We did this last in 2016. It's one of the most historic days in U.S. history. And here we are doing it live with all of you. And this is the thing. We're going to bring in Race Hobbs, and I'm just going to cut to the chase. Race, of course, one of the principals and founders of KGRA, The Planet.
You have reached the maximum time.
Race is not there. Okay, let's okay. Let's bring Race back. Hang on, I've got Race. Race, how you doing, man?
I'm hanging in there like Japanese swimwear.
Man, that's what I'm talking about, Race. And what a historic day for this country and the world. All eyes are on the United States right now. Pins and needles. How you doing?
I'm getting drunk.
You're
No. I did break out the Captain Morgans with my son-in-law a few minutes ago to kind of knock the edge off a little bit, Jimmy. I'm not going to bullshit you.
Yeah. Well, it's okay. Okay, this is the
nail
thing.
biter, man.
Yeah,
it's
it
nail.
is. Yeah, there's no question about that. There's no question about it. And let me ask you this question: are things playing out right now as to be expected? You know what I mean? If you look at the way the states have gone versus the polling and things and the media and social media and everything else, if we look at it right now, is it going as to be expected?
That's a loaded question, Jimmy. No matter how you carefully word that, that is loaded, because the truth is, I cannot believe, I can't believe that this country would be so upset or, sort of disappointed in the president and his actions or his tweets or whatever it is, that they would want to elect somebody that is is as bad of a candidate as Joe Biden. I'm just being real. This whole socialist Marxist movement, this whole disgruntled thing, this is nothing new. This country was divided long before the last 4 years of this presidency. It was divided long ago. And it's just ran into this sort of woke generation, this cancel culture. I never thought, that's what I'm saying. I never thought I would live to see this sort of mentality take hold, take any kind of a serious root in this culture in the United States. I never thought I'd live to see it.
And it sounds like you need to turn off your cell phone. Was that you? That wasn't me.
No, that was in the hallway, outside in the hallway.
That's Race's burglar alarm.
No, that's the
tricked.
Ring doorbell.
Yeah.
That's the Ring doorbell letting me know that there's movement on the front door.
Yeah, you got the Men in Black there. See, this is the thing. And there is no question about what you just stated is on everybody's mind. It doesn't matter if you're red or blue. Everybody's talking about the exact same things. But who is responsible for that? Is it the media? Is it social media? Is it outside influences outside of this country?
I would say it's two things, Jimmy. It's parents and the internet. Those two things.
Right.
My parents, my father worked in a rock quarry. My mother was a bookkeeper. They had no idea what a computer in the home even was. There was no way that my parents, the way they were, was going to prepare their 5 kids for the computer, movement that was coming. The microchip, that whole era, man. You had the space race, you had the atomic age, then computers came, man, and all of a sudden everything moved to the speed of light. And my parents weren't the type people to prepare their kids for that. And I don't think that we that grew up in the 80s and the 90s were the kind of parents. We made our kids our best friends. We didn't parent our kids like we traditionally got parented when we were younger and when my parents were kids. It's a totally different world. And the influence that the internet provides these kids today and the freedom that parents give young kids on the internet and video game platforms today allow them to be influenced in ways we never were, and no other generation before them ever was. We were raised on real emotions. When we got into an argument, somebody's nose might be bleeding. Somebody might be missing a few teeth. But you lived through it. You came out of it a better person on the other side, regardless, what the situation was. It's real experience. Today, I remember reading serious scientific research on false emotions. It had to do with us going to scary movies and suspenseful movies and love stories and stuff, and you spend these real emotions on fake things that weren't real. Does the tank ever run empty? Or what's the long-term effects of that? And when you sort of match that up with today's world where, kids for the most part, you can go pick up any teenager, any, say, 13, 14-year-old kid off the street and take his cell phone away from them. You know what I mean? And they won't be able to make it. They will literally come unglued. It's like kids, these generations are being raised in a way that their emotions and their worries, their fears, their concerns are manipulated by the internet, tugged on one way and the other by the internet. Feelings are hurt, and our generation can't understand it because we were hurt by real things, not by fake things, not by things that people would say that we have never even seen or heard of and don't even know. You have said so many times on this show about how vicious people can be and the negativity that's out there and all that mess, and how you're not going to have it here. You have to make boundaries. And then this whole term came up about boundaries. I never even heard about boundaries until I was 45 years old. And this whole society today that's up and coming, this is what scares me. I don't think that Donald Trump is going to be the savior of freedom. That's not what I'm thinking. I'm thinking if he gets another 4 years, he's just going to stave off the inevitable because it was coming. It's been coming. It was put down during the McCarthy. We called it communism back then, but it was socialism. It was a whole different paradigm that tried to take root in the American social consciousness, and it got stamped out. This time it won't. They're just going to keep coming with it. And I just hope that America survives it, Jimmy.
Well, what's the solution? Is the solution taking back corporal punishment, right? I mean, is it that? Is it rooted at the education level, right, from kindergarten on? I had a genuine fear. I remember Race, and I've spoken to you about this before, but I had a genuine fear of my teachers, right? Tangible, real fear. And I remember going home a couple of times and complaining to my parents about a teacher. And my dad or my mom looking at me going, that's not my problem, right? You need to respect your teacher. And that's it. And they always took the teacher's side. Today, it's a different ball game, right? If kids come home and complain about their teachers, the parents are all defending their children and getting teachers in trouble because the teachers aren't allowed to have any control of the classroom, right? And students know that now. Right? Is it that fundamental? You know what I mean? Is that a core?
Yeah. It happened with corporal punishment. You know what I mean? Like, spare the rod, spoil the child. When I was a kid, I remember my drafting teacher taking a board, a paddle, and raising me up out in the hallway. I mean, coach, if you played sports and you didn't make A's, B's, and C's, if you made a D or an F, you got SWATs in school.
Yeah, I know.
In school, man. And you know what? I think it started when the parents weren't allowed to punish their kids anymore. You know what I mean? To give their kids SWATs. You know what I mean? Like when you took it away from parents, it's just going to keep. You know what I mean? It's just going to keep rolling on. It's going to bleed over into this and then to that, and then before you know it, here we are. But yeah, I think teachers are getting terribly disrespected in class today. I've heard a lot of stories about how, especially in high school, high schools around the nation. But you know what? I'm one of these people. I'm so far behind. I'm still trying to figure out, Jimmy, when they took the Pledge of Allegiance out of school.
Yeah, I know.
When you couldn't pray anymore,
and you know what's really funny is that I can only look at my gauge, my lens on things is what I went through and how I was raised. That's all. I realize that we're in a different world and things, but I had no issues about the way that my parents ran things. I had no issues with the police. I had no issues with teachers or adults. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, sir. Right? The respect that you had for your elders. Today, that line is gone. It's completely gone. It's just like it's a free-for-all out there, and I don't want to sound like I'm like far right Christian or I'm far left liberal or what. I don't want to sound like that. I just want to sound like an American, where I'm just like, where have we gone wrong? How do we drive this car so far off the tracks that we're not able to get things back right? That's all. That's the thing. I don't know where it happened. I don't understand the changes, but here we are today questioning where we are at and how did we get here? That's the thing. I'm just puzzled by it.
Yeah, and I think you need to know that before you can effectively move forward with good corrections to the problems that face us all. And with that said, knowing what caused it, uh, we could go back thousands of years, couldn't we? I mean, there a lot of these issues with homosexuality and just all this stuff that our society has dealt with. They were dealing with this stuff, 4,000 years ago. And so, we're still chasing our tails over things that, may or may have not been figured out back then. And we just ignore the doctrine that they created to, make us better today. When you're in a country that's, doing the good works that the United States does around the world, I mean, it's amazing. We don't ever hear anything about it because we really don't have good news anymore. But the United States, there's still in the entire world, people still love the United States and still see us as that beacon of hope out there, that vestige of freedom that's still protected at all costs. Otherwise, they wouldn't all be trying to come here. If they thought the United States was a doomed place, they wouldn't be here.
Well, that's of course the truth. And then we have to look at where we are today, the way that the media, and I keep saying the media, but we have to include social media in that too as well, where it's not the leaders of Facebook. It's not that. It's not Jack Dorsey over at Twitter and what have you. It's the people that have accounts on Twitter. Right? It's the people that have accounts on Facebook that are influencing others and also are being influenced themselves. So social media, along with the media, has a lot to do with where we are right now because if all of the media, that includes social media, is talking about unrest that is going to come on November 4th. And now we have stores and communities being boarded up. We have a fence around the White House today. And
it's crazy.
That's insane to me.
It is. It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you really quick. And as I am looking at the current status of things, we're still at, this is according to Google, this is real time. The big evil Google. Joe Biden is at 131. Donald Trump, of course, is at 108. If we go over to Fox, they've got Joe Biden at 133 and President Donald Trump at 115. If we swing over to CNN's got Joe Biden at 98 and Donald Trump at 95. Now, as we look at all of this, what do you think is going to happen tomorrow? No matter what, if there's not an announcement tonight, right? If there isn't a concession phone call, which I don't anticipate this evening.
I don't think anything's going to happen tomorrow. But when there's a clear winner, something's going to go down if it's a loss by Biden. I think that whole side of the equation has shown themselves well to be ready to, to go create havoc and put some smoke in the city. They don't care.
And
none of them go to jail. They don't get arrested. They don't get, punished the way they should be punished for, looting Walmarts and shoe stores and Macy's and all them. You know what I mean? Like, that is just, I just can't swallow it, man.
Okay, so what you're suggesting here is if Joe Biden wins, there is no unrest anywhere in the country.
No, I'm not. I would almost bet the mortgage on it.
Interesting.
I mean, I don't.
Well, the reason why I suggest that is, again, I'm
been caught burning anything down.
Well, but that's not what I'm. That's not where I'm going. What I'm saying is, playing
Right.
devil's advocate here, right, from the outside looking in. is that where the country is?
It
where
is.
they are so upset that is the only recourse.
It's not our only recourse, but it's theirs.
Right.
That mentality of people, I just call them thugs because that's what they are. And they are thugs. Regardless what excuse you make up to look at a cop in the face and say, I hope your children get raped and murdered. There's no excuse for that. I don't care what you think. There is no excuse for a woman, like a 20-something-year-old woman, to look a cop in the face and say that to him. It's just there's some of these people in this culture that they're just criminal.
Well,
they all think they've got this excuse to go out here, Jimmy, and do this stuff, and they're doing it for the right reasons, and that's the sickness.
Well, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Because I see the same things that you do. And so when I see that, what I back up and ask myself, is this a representative of America and society, or is this somebody that is maybe a paid actor? Is this somebody that doesn't care? That I'm confused. Yeah, I'm confused by that.
Provocateurs are real. They're absolutely real. But there is a culture that is so naive, and they live on their phones and their laptops. They live on Twitter and Facebook and social media, and they're just worked over constantly. Put that phone down, because I'm telling you, Jimmy, it is just like, it's like pouring gasoline on a fire. They just, honestly, we are so close to having a totalitarian system now. Very close. If it wasn't for Fox News, then you pretty much can chalk up the rest of the world media as being liberal.
World media,
but definitely, the network news and news media papers in America definitely are way over to the left. But you know what? I don't want to sit here and sound like anything. I love my brothers and sisters that are Democrats, but I just feel like the Democratic Party, they've been left. The real, true, traditional Democratic Party has been left behind by this progressive movement, and they always wrap this stuff up in real pretty terms. Progressive, whatever. It's not.
Well, I could, and this is the thing. Even though I tend to agree with that, but I see issues on both sides. I see very, very, very serious unraveling of morals and decency and the fabric that was originally put this country together. Quick announcement: CNN has just kicked it up 118 for Biden and kicked it up to 105 for President Trump. And no changes, though, even though CNN just made this announcement, no changes from the Google map as it's playing out. Still 131 for Joe Biden, 108 for President Trump. But over on Fox, they've got Joe Biden at 133 and President Donald Trump at 115. And the states that are still left in play, obviously there are things that still aren't resolved on the East Coast. But we still have California, Nevada, Oregon, Washington, and Idaho, Alaska, and Hawaii still to come into the mix. And then, of course, the results to come in from Texas, which still hasn't officially been called, and, of course, Florida, and Donald Trump leading in both of those. Wisconsin and Michigan and Pennsylvania, very interesting how these are still playing out here, Race. Wisconsin, as we're heading towards the top of the hour, Wisconsin with 53%. Joe Biden at 47.1, and President Donald Trump at 51.4. Michigan with 42% in, Joe Biden at 43.7, and Donald Trump at 54.6. A huge lead has opened up in Ohio with 42% in, Donald Trump leading there at 54.6. And then Pennsylvania, 42% in, a huge lead by Donald Trump right now, 54.9% to Joe Biden at 42.4. And everything that the media, and that includes Fox, was saying that Wisconsin and Michigan and Pennsylvania were certainly in play for Joe Biden. And right now, that doesn't seem to be the case. I don't know how this is going to play out moving forward, but very interesting right now at 8 o'clock Pacific time out west.
Gosh, it's nail biter.
Yeah,
Jimmy, before I have to go, because I know you got a break coming up here today, I just wanted to say there are a lot of things that need to be fixed in our society in the United States, and we're not perfect, but we're such a good country and a great country that has done great things and made milestones. And I think we've made the world a better place in so many ways. But yes, we need better police training for this millennium. You know what I mean? There are things, cleaning up the ocean and feeding the hungry. And there are so many things that need to be done. There are things that we need to do abroad. There's so many serious issues that need to be tackled and finished and taken care of. Armenia. I could go on and on, but at the end of the day, there's just so much we need to do, but we need to be together to do it.
That's the only way. That's the only way to move forward, man. That's the only way to move forward. And I want, as we are heading into this break, I want the audience to know that Race and I agree on very little. Right? I all kinds of issues, whether it's UFOs or the paranormal or time travel or religion or politics or health or food or whatever. But we are friends, and we talk through things, and we respect each other. And that needs to be with everybody in the United States. And for some reason, we have allowed division to come into play. And that's not the way forward.
I can tell you this. Like them or hate them, our forefathers set things up so that our level of responsibility and compassion and tolerance and all of those important things that we all hold dear as Americans would bind us instead of separate us, and that we were always the most powerful when we were together. The government retains all of the power when they keep us separated, when they keep us mad at each other, when they keep us fighting each other and keep those lines divided. That makes them more powerful than us.
That's right.
And they're good. They're good with it. The media is good with it, and the politicians are good with it, and both of them are running wide open right now.
Well,
until my brothers and sisters come together in this country, it's going to remain that way. And I just hope that it somehow is able to be restored and even better than ever without something super bad having to happen to cause it.
Now, Race and I do agree on one thing. Chicken fried steak, scrambled eggs,
mashed potatoes.
Now, but what do you go? Do you go hash browns or home fries?
Crispy hash browns sometimes, and then sometimes I go home fries, Jimmy. When I was younger, I loved home fries, and the older I get, I like them crispy hash browns.
Yeah, man, I'm a hash brown guy now too. I've swung both ways. Home fries with some onions in there. It doesn't get no better, right?
But that is really good, yeah. Jimmy, I love you, my man.
Right
really.
On, Race, and enjoy the rest of your night, and I'll talk at you tomorrow.
You can hold it down out there in the West Coast and give Rita my love. And to all you Fadernauts, I love all of you, and thank you for putting up with me.
Race Hobbs, KGRA, the planet. Race, enjoy the rest of your night, man.
You too, brother.
Race Hobbs, KGRA. See, we agree on hash browns. That's what I'm talking about. All right. I'll be back after this short break. It's election night in America, 2020, live on Fade to Black. And I'm looking at the numbers change as I speak to you now. I'll be right back. Stay with us.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas.
Hello, my name is Billy Carson, and I am a best-selling author and the founder of ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. Together with my team, we have built an all-new conscious streaming TV platform designed with every family member in mind. If you have ever wanted to travel the world and attend lectures and workshops from your favorite speakers but weren't able to, look no further. ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. There are dozens of workshops and lectures from speakers you know and love. We have also included amazing categories to assure that your consciousness is entertained and elevating on a daily basis. Amazing interviews, ancient history, ascension knowledge, wisdom teachings, documentaries, conspiracies, mysteries, health and fitness, conscious cooking, meditations, finance, yoga, and so much more. To start your free trial on any mobile device or computer, surf to ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. That's Forbidden Knowledge with the number 4, ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. Again, visit ForbiddenKnowledge.tv today.
Listen, I know, and you know, that you've always wanted your first crystal skull. Or maybe you're a collector just like me, but you just don't know where to go to find the real thing. Then I met Carolyn Ford over at EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com. Carolyn is the guardian of Einstein, one of the most respected ancient crystal skulls in the world. All of her unique skulls have been imprinted sitting with Einstein in his sacred lodge and are carved from the finest gemstone and materials. Imprinting is the process of receiving the ancient wisdom from the master skull or master computer. Einstein, the ancient crystal skull. To see Carolyn's current collection of crystal skulls, just visit her store at EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com or click on the banner over on our site. Don't forget to use the promo code Jimmy at checkout to receive 10% off of your order today. That's promo code Jimmy. Finding your first or next crystal skull is easy. Just visit EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, River Moon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
Hello, I'm Katie, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Race Hobbs here repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA Digital Broadcast Station.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And this is Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. We are also Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And I'm Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers.
And you're listening to Jimmy Church.
The Revolution.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and you can become an official Fadernaut by just going to our membership section at jimmychurchradio.com.
Hello, this is Serena Wright Taylor from Conscious Life Expo, and you're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church, who holds the Lucky Pony record for the best astrological chart since 1963. True story.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, our election night 2020 special event. We are live on the air. I've got everything up in front of me right now. I'll go through all of that in just a bit. I want to thank Race Hobbs for coming in and it's a historic day here in the country. I have no idea what is happening right now. Or any predictions. I just don't have it. I don't have it. I can't figure things out. Now, everybody just saw the recent tally that just came in across the board. Joe Biden has jumped up to 207 electoral votes right now, with President Donald Trump at 148. And Florida was just called for Trump by Fox. Over on Google, it's 209 Joe Biden to Donald Trump 112. They haven't given Florida to President Trump yet. And we jump over to CNN, and it's 192 Joe Biden, 108 with President Donald Trump. They haven't given Florida yet to President Donald Trump. Of course, California, Oregon, and Washington just came in and have all been called on all three networks right now, which push Joe Biden up. Now, looking at what's left here, we still have Alaska and Hawaii. Florida, by Fox was just given to President Donald Trump, and it looks like it should have gone that way a while ago, but they finally called it. But the road to 270 now is very interesting, because we have Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio looks like it's 90% in with President Trump with a huge lead in Ohio. And that's got 18 electoral votes tied to that state right there. And then Pennsylvania lagging behind with only 45% in with President Trump with a lead of 55% to Joe Biden's 42.6%. Georgia, 65% in, Trump leading there, of course. And North Carolina with 94% in, and man, that is really close. 94% in, but it's 50% President Trump, 49% Joe Biden with 94% in. That is indeed too close to call. But then Texas is going to come into play with 38, and President Trump should take Texas. Even though 74% in, I'm very surprised at how close this actually is, with President Trump at 51.5% and Joe Biden at 47.2%. That is very, very surprising to me, but that should go. The great state of Texas should go to Donald Trump, which is going to bring us into almost a tie. When all of this gets tallied up here. Now, let's go back over to Fox. Fox has got Joe Biden at 207, Donald Trump at 148. Texas still hasn't been called there for President Trump. Georgia, North Carolina still there. Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Montana. Nevada hasn't done anything yet. There's only 6 electoral votes there in play. Arizona. Now, what's weird is New Mexico's been called on 2, but hasn't been called by Fox yet here. So Wow. I don't know. Does anybody know what is going on at this point? CNN is still showing, like I said, Biden at 192, Donald Trump at 108. I think Florida is safely in Donald Trump's hands. Of course, Fox has made that call, but nobody else has yet, and I don't understand why. So once, let's see here, if it's 38 and 29, so nearly 70, that would put Donald Trump right around 198. Wow. Nail biter. And I just don't, I have no idea. This is exciting. At the bottom of the hour, astrologer Jeff Harman is going to be joining us, and stand by for that. And what I wanted to do really quick, as things are very fluid and changing. Again, I'm just watching everything play out around me. I want to open up the phone lines. 747-228-2051. 747-228-2051. And let's get some of the reactions from our audience out there, and what you guys think ultimately is going to be the result. And, of course, I do want to know from you, as we wind this around to the bottom of the hour, what do you think the media has laid out for us tomorrow, right, and Thursday? You know, what do you think is going to go on? I know around here in Burbank and throughout Sherman Oaks and going to Encino, things have been boarded up. And, of course, all of the reports in the media about Beverly Hills and Rodeo Drive being boarded up. Of course, what is going on in Washington, D.C. and the White House, and what happened there with the fencing that went up around the White House. Very concerning for all of us as Americans to see this going on. I mean, I don't like to see this stuff get played out like this for us and the rest of the country. So with that, let's see here. Let's go here first. Turn me down in the background. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey, Jimmy. Chuckles from the very slow to respond with their voters, Pennsylvania, man. How you doing?
Yeah, there you go, Chuck. How you doing?
Well, it makes me feel embarrassed that I live here. That what did you say we're at? Like 45% of our state counted or something like that? Because I don't know. I just find that in itself kind of ridiculous. Like, you know, kind of like you and Race are talking about with today's generation, all, you know, into their computers and their phones and all that. How can we not have an accurate count? I mean, whoever wins, but I mean, I'm afraid, I've always been afraid all week that we're all going to go to bed tonight and not know who won, which I think, with what I've seen, and granted what I've seen, I don't live in Philadelphia anymore, but I've told you I'm about 30 miles right outside, but that's still close enough. I just want things to play out so people don't freak out.
Well, if you go back and you think about the Florida recount and the hanging chads and how long the country was left in suspense and not knowing, this isn't the first time that we've had situations like this, but certainly it's combining the pandemic, combining the economy, the mudslinging that has been going on, and all of the unknowns that the country is facing, just big unknowns, right? And I know. Having this as another unknown, and of course tomorrow and what the next day is going to bring, has got everybody on edge, and pins and needles.
Yeah. I mean, Karen and I were talking. Her mom lives much closer to it. She's only about, as a crow's fly, about a mile from City Line Avenue down there. Anybody from this area knows what I'm talking about. That's like where all the news stations are here and all that. And, just like you're seeing in the news, there's businesses boarding up down there already. And, I don't think there's any way to avoid some social unrest with this outcome, just considering how 2020's been. What just has me bothered, and when you started saying about all the screens you had up, I was curious, and I did the same thing you were doing. I looked at, Google, Fox, CNN, MSNBC. I'm not choosing one, but why are they all so different? I mean, it seems to me that honesty and straightforwardness is like what I've been praying for with the outcome of this. And again, I'm not trying to make myself sound strange, but that's kind of how I ended up coming out. So whatever, here I am in one of the states that might cause that, you know what I mean, with not having all of our votes and whatnot. And it just makes me feel uneasy. I have no control over who wins except for my one vote, but I just want people to be sane and be understanding towards one another, whatever happens.
Yeah, and there's another thing here that is in play that I'm finding very, very interesting. And that's the Senate. And if
I saw that.
Yes. And if the Democratic Party retains control of the House and they take control of the Senate, then what does that do with getting things done if President Trump is reelected, but yet he is battling the Senate and the House every step of the way moving forward?
Right, and it's weird because it'll be like an extension of 2020. You got one guy wants to go this way, one guy wants to go in that direction. Again, I'm not one to get involved in politics 100%. It personally drives me crazy. All I'm asking for, though, is work together, whoever you are. And just to add fuel to that, I don't know what network today. I was just bumming around the house taking care of Carol and whatnot. And they were saying that once before, when an election couldn't be called or was too tight, now this is going way back, that then it goes to the House or Senate or something like that. Do you have any more input on that, or could that actually happen? Like where
if we have a tie, you're saying if we have a tie, 268, 268.
Okay, so it is possible to tie then.
Yes,
wow.
It is possible to tie.
I didn't know that. Wow.
And I am one of the things, and I've thought this my entire life. The Electoral College and the way that is set up, it just felt funky to me. Why not just have an election, right? That's it. Win or lose. That's it. Popular vote. That's it. And,
Bingo.
And we don't have to deal with any of this. And
right. I've honestly never understood that, and I don't think my brain could handle it. But it's like you've heard it. I'm pretty sure it happened this last one where one candidate won the popular vote, yet one won the, presidency or whatever. Well, something doesn't seem right about that. Like I thought voting was who got the most numbers, but you're right. It comes down to that electoral college, which is, pardon the word, bass backwards, man.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. And there's one other thing that we need to really seriously think about. We went through an impeachment and, brought on by Congress. And then, of course, the Senate dismissed it. But if the Democratic Party takes control of the Senate and continues control of the House, then are we just going to roll right into an impeachment in January? right, in February. Is that what's ultimately, nobody wants to talk about that, but again, just a distraction for the country. And is this a possibility? Nobody wants to talk about it, but I'm looking
that
now.
Is what,
according to Fox, the Senate balance of power right now, 44 for Democrats, Republicans 42. And that's according to Fox.
and Fox is the one that you would assume would lean more towards the Republican side. So if Fox is saying that, it could be pretty close.
CNN still has it 42-42, and I'm not following it over. Let's see. Now see, Google has got the Democrats at 42 and the Republican Party at 44 for control of the Senate. So again, it is, for me, and that's what I always do. And Chuck, I've got to get to some more phone calls here, but
sure, man.
I look at all of the sources that I can and try to strike somewhere in the middle. So. There you go. All right. Give my best to Kara. Enjoy your night, and I will speak to you soon. I'll see you tomorrow night for the day after. Thank you so much, Chuck.
You got to go, Beckley Tepe, and everybody stay normal. Love you. Bye.
Right on. And he's in Pennsylvania, and I kind of feel for him when we talk about things like this, where he feels like his state may be responsible for what is happening right now. Let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey, Jimmy. It's Heather from Mansfield.
Hi, Heather from Mansfield. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. So Ohio went through some crazy stuff tonight, but 92% in. President Donald Trump, 53.2%. Joe Biden at 45.3%.
Yes. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, there you go. And what do you think, Heather? I wanted to ask you. You're you're in Mansfield, but what do you think about how social media and the media has played up unrest that will follow today's election?
Wow, that's a good question. I didn't think I was going to get one, but I will tell you this, and you might call me a crazy person, but I'm a little bit conspiracy, obviously, because I'm a part of this community. But my theory is that the bad guys, the guys in charge, love to manipulate the public into accepting and agreeing to things. So I'm not going to go into all of it because I have a limited time, and also because I don't want to bore people. But when you think about bad things happen, and then the public says, oh, please save us from this. They ask the government to give consent for them to do things to correct the situation that's wrong, correct? So if we follow this through time without getting specific, there's a problem. COVID's a problem. Unrest is a problem. And people are asking the government, please help us. Either financially help us or help us with this unrest. Do something. Bring in the military or something. It depends on what side you're on. But at the end of the day, it's like this whole situation has created an unrest where people are giving consent and asking the government to help them. And what I'd like to see, and it sounds kind of silly, but I'm going to say it anyway. I don't care what anyone says. I'd like to see the end of The Last Jedi. Or not, well, I forget what the name of it was. The last Star Wars movie. At the end of that movie, when all those planes showed up, and it was like, we're done with this, That's kind of what I'd like to see. I'd like to see humanity wake up to the point where everybody shows up in that last scene where every ship's there to say enough of tyranny, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm wondering, what's it going to take for everybody to realize that, you know, everyone has their own perspective. I get that. I respect your right to vote. I respect all of that. But at the end of the day, are we America or are we not America? America is the right to choose. America is, we're going to argue. We're never going to get along. But you know what? We have the ability to do that. I don't want it to turn into a world where it's like every right that was written into what makes us Americans is gone because it's offensive. You know, that's where I'm at, and I'll finish with that and let you talk.
Well, yes. I mean, can't we all agree to that? And I don't think that's a pipe dream. I think those are goals that we should all have, right? I mean, who can argue with that? Oh, I want to give an update. Fox just gave Arizona to Joe Biden. So Arizona was flipped. And they just gave it to Joe Biden. Joe Biden now, according to Fox, is sitting at 218 to President Donald Trump's 148. And let's see, before I head to the break here. Okay, CNN has not given Arizona yet to Joe Biden, and neither has Google. But Fox has, and that is very, very interesting, too, as well. So that's where we are sitting, according to Fox, 218 for Joe Biden. President Donald Trump is sitting at 148. Minnesota still in play with 10 electoral votes. Nevada with 6. Still in play. New Mexico, according to Fox, is still in play with 5. And then, of course, Iowa, Michigan, Wisconsin, Ohio, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Georgia, and Texas still up in the air. But all of those look like they are probably going to President Donald Trump, of course, except for Nevada and New Mexico. With that, Heather, enjoy your night. We'll see you tomorrow night right here on the show. Thank you so much.
Will do.
And be safe out there. Thank you. And
you too. Thank you.
With that, I need to take a quick break. This is Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight is our live election night special event, Election 2020. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. I'll be right back with our next guest, astrologer Jeff Harman. Stay with me.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
Do you want to be an official Fadernaut? Of course you do. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black. Just go to our membership section at jimmychurchradio.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
You listen to us, and we listen to you. And so does the CIA. KGRARadio.com.
Telepath is a weekly digital newsletter filled with the latest paranormal news, trending topics, and fresh articles from some of the most popular critical thinkers in the community today. Stay informed on your favorite paranormal podcasts and live streaming talk shows. Interact with the Telepath and upload your paranormal story or pics. It could be featured in an upcoming edition. Sign up right now for the free Telepath newsletter at paranormal.radio. That's paranormal.radio.
Including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
Welcome back. Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight is our election night 2020 special event live. We had Race Hobbs with us earlier. Took a couple of phone calls in the last segment. And right now we are joined by astrologer Jeff Harman. Jeff, good evening. How are you?
Good. I'm doing real good, Jim. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's great to have you back on the show. And it's been a while since we've hung out.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to your next party.
Yeah. You seem to you and Camille are whenever we have a party, you guys are there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because you got good parties. That's why.
It's
you got all the cool people there.
You know, you're there for the food. Come on, man.
And every time I go there, I find out something new and cooler about you. You know, like I didn't know you did all that recording studio stuff that many years ago.
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. And to that end, I have a beautiful studio now. I'm surrounded with all of these guitars, and I have the ability. I could record an album and do anything I want, and I don't. Right? I have the ability to do everything that I dreamed about.
Now, I picked up something you're gonna like.
Oh, what'd you get?
I just picked up a '69 Telecaster.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. What color?
It's the blonde, the blonde, the same one that Keith Richards plays. I love that thing. I mean, when you play it, you think the Rolling Stones are, in the room. It's amazing. I just love it.
And there's another element to the Telecaster that, the guitar players know, but most people don't. And that is Stairway to Heaven, Led Zeppelin 1, Led Zeppelin 2. That's all a Telecaster.
Exactly right. That was Jimmy Page's guitar.
Yeah, and they thought, we always think about Les Pauls, as we should, with Jimmy Page. But all that great stuff, man.
Oh, the Tellys they rule, man. I also got a Gibson, the Music Master. I love that thing.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah.
Well, that settles it. Then we're going to get together and jam. I mean, that's it.
Yeah, I do have, I have one Les Paul. That is beautiful. I do have that. I have an Explorer, and that is also beautiful. But everything else, I'm pretty much in the Fender realm. I don't have any Tellys, and I've been thinking about getting the Dragon Telly, the Jimmy Page reissue by Fender. I've been thinking about getting that, but I've never jumped into Telly. I want to, before we move forward, during the break, Fox has given New Mexico now to Joe Biden. And the current count, and I don't know how this is going to move forward, but Fox has got Joe Biden at 223 and President Donald Trump at 148. This is according to Fox. And if we jump over to Google, just to keep our audience in play here, Arizona has not been given to Joe Biden by Google, but New Mexico has. That tally is still at 209 for Biden, President Donald Trump at 118. And I want to jump over to CNN really quick. CNN has got Joe Biden at 192 and President Donald Trump at 114. So we've got three different numbers, three different media sources, all calling this election differently tonight. Jeff, you're an astrologer, and according to the charts, and I want you to tell us how you came to this, but you made a prediction that President Donald Trump would get reelected.
It leans in that direction. It really does. We'll see what happens, though. One of the things I don't like about this election that's really screwy is Mercury. Everybody's heard of Mercury retrograde. It's stationing and going direct literally as we speak. And it's doing it in a square to Saturn, which always means this is probably not going to be settled tonight. It could, but I'd be surprised if it didn't linger on and actually get into some legal battles before it's completely 100% settled.
Yeah, I want to talk to you more about that tonight. And again, thank you. It's a very important, historic night, and thank you for taking the time to come in and hang out with us. I do want to talk about your prediction, though, of course, of Donald Trump being reelected. When you make a call like that, what were the charts telling you at that time?
Well, it's basically, I looked at Biden's chart and I looked at Trump's chart, and Trump just, even though Trump's got a lot of challenges, he tends to have better aspects. And I know a lot of different astrologers are calling different things. Biden has the moon south node transiting over his sun and his Mercury. So it's not as strong for him, though he could pull it off. But I lean towards Trump's chart just looks stronger. It looks like he's going to take it. That's what I would say. It probably won't look like it. It hasn't looked like it all night, but he's slowly catching up. We'll see what happens. You know, I actually didn't think the race was going to be even this close, but so far as I can see it, it looks like Arizona's still in play, Montana, Wisconsin, Michigan. So there's a lot up in the air, and I don't think Pennsylvania is going to be decided tonight with all the mail-in votings. That's the equation that really messes things up, and it matches the Mercury retrograde almost exactly.
Well, if we look at the way things are right now, Joe Biden
Biden's
is
up right now.
Yeah, well, he's sitting at 223, but when we look at everything that is still in play, which is Texas, Georgia, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Iowa, these are all leaning towards President Trump, and of course Montana. Yep. And Nevada is not enough to win things for Joe Biden. It looks like Trump's going to get reelected.
It's leaning in that direction, and that's what I have to say. There's an ancient astrology, and Jimmy, this gets into your world. I've been studying this stuff for many years. There was an old astrologer many years ago I had studied with. He's long gone now. Guy was incredible. He actually did financial astrology for some of the people we hear the conspiracy theories about, like the Rothschilds and all that in London. And I didn't believe him at first, but then when he started showing me stuff, it's called Nadi astrology. I don't know if you've ever heard of the Nadi palm leaves in India, where they go get your name and your birth date and all that, and they run in and they say, they come back and say, oh, geez, you had this many brothers and sisters, and you're going to get married here. And it's astonishing. And it's been very hard to learn this stuff, and I don't claim to know it 100%, but I have been really immersed in that. And that's the stuff I'm leaning here with Biden and Trump. And by the way, I looked at you too, and you got some major changes coming up that I like. You're going to be really turning a page in a much more positive direction. Not that it hasn't been good, but coming up here in, what was it? I wrote it down here. It's in 2022, the spring of 2022, which really isn't far away at all. You only got a year to go. And you're going to be coming out into a whole new kind of direction in your life, which is going to be really positive.
I'm not even sure what that would mean.
Well, I mean, who knows? I mean, that's the coolest thing about these energies. A lot of people think it's predicting the future. It's not. It's more like looking at vectors in energy. It's what comes at us, and a lot of times we can't know exactly how it's going to end up. It's kind of like what I'm looking at with Trump and Biden. It looks really uncertain right now for both of them in a lot of ways, but that if the chart is correct, it's going to lean in that direction where Trump slides in. I thought it would be much stronger on his behalf based on the astrology, but I also would say I'd be surprised if he doesn't lean in that direction. Arizona could definitely go to. I think it's going to go to Biden. So we'll see where all this goes.
Well, yeah, Fox did give Arizona to Joe Biden.
Yeah,
and the latest tallies, again, which is really strange, nothing has changed right now. Google still has Joe Biden at 209 and President Trump at 118. Fox, on the other hand, has got Joe Biden at 223 and Donald Trump at 148. Let's jump over to CNN. CNN, 192 for Biden and 114 for President Trump. But it's looking at what is left and is still in play. Everything is leaning towards.
Texas is a big one.
It is, and 77% of the vote in. We have 38 electoral votes that are in play. And, Biden just went up a little bit as I was speaking in Texas at 46.7 to President Trump at 52. And that is 77% in. I'm surprised that is as close as it is.
Yeah, me too. I really am. I really question, too, with Mercury going, direct right on this election. I didn't think it would even be this definitive tonight. I thought we would, I think it's going to get hung. I really do. I could be wrong, but this may not be fully finished for several days yet. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised about Pennsylvania. I think that everybody had talked enough about Pennsylvania and the way that the voting tallies were going to be delayed there. We're still at 51% in Pennsylvania, so there is still a long way to go. I don't know the breakdown of Philly and Pittsburgh and the smaller cities there. I don't know the breakdown of what is still left to be counted. But Ohio is now at 94% in, and President Trump has got a huge lead, and I don't know why they are delaying there. Michigan right now.
Ohio's really important. It seems to always be the tipping scale. Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Florida.
Well, yeah, when we look historically at Ohio, no Republican president has ever been elected without winning Ohio, right?
Yep.
So I'm not saying if Biden would have taken Ohio that would have stopped President Trump, but that is certainly an interesting statistic here, and it seems to be going strongly in President Trump's direction. It's Michigan and Wisconsin here that I find very, very interesting. Pennsylvania is just too wacky to even come close to trying to think about what could happen there. And it's the same thing with Michigan. Michigan, 54.3% for President Trump and 43.5% for Biden, but only 50% of the state is in right now.
Right.
Yeah,
it's a nail biter. They always are. But I think when we start getting, near midnight, we're going to have a much clearer picture where all this is starting to go.
And what do the charts say about the purported unrest that is about to envelop the country? Starting
that's
tomorrow.
What everybody's really worried about. I know I was down in Beverly Hills. I'm down there a lot, and I think it's not going to be as bad as everyone thinks. Who knows? We'll see. But I think they're on their toes in a lot of places about this. I know they've erected all kinds of stuff around the White House, and they've got the feds ready to go in. And then I think there's going to be a lot of angry people, no matter who wins. There's no question. I think the tensions, and this is what the astrology really is accurate about, is why has the world been so crazy? Not only with this COVID, but just in general, we see the polarization stronger now than I've ever seen in my lifetime. And I'm sure you feel the same way. I mean, it's just really a strange time. And if you look up in the sky right now, you can see Pluto, Saturn, and Jupiter all together. In fact, Jupiter gives a kiss to Pluto, or what I call a kiss, meaning a conjunction, which is exceedingly powerful, literally in just a few days. I mean, it's going to conjunct technically right on about, I'm just going forward here, about the 11th and 12th of this month of November. That's really powerful. After that, one of the biggest things that hasn't happened in 240 something years is the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction. And the Jupiter-Saturn, well, it happens every 20 years, but it's not happening in this condition until 240 years. And that is happening exactly on the winter solstice of this year, not the day before, not the day after, exactly on it. So, okay, great. What does it mean? Every time Jupiter and Saturn conjoin or add up, and this goes all the way back to the book of Enoch, in a new element like earth, air, fire, and water, it causes a tremendous change in society. Well, this is why we're seeing this election so polarized. I mean, people don't just they like or dislike someone. They either love them or hate them. And we see the same thing going on with Biden, with Trump. I mean, it's so polarized. I mean, I see families hanging up the phone on one another. You know, like I watch, I shouldn't say this on air, but I will. Camille had a relative hang up the phone just because of preferences of who liked who. And I've just never seen people as polarized as they are now. And I remember when I was a kid in 1968, I was in Washington, D.C. And of course, that was Martin Luther King had just been killed, which was horrible, and Resurrection City. And I remember my grandfather, he actually worked for the Secret Service at that time. And he would never tell us what he did, but I know it was something like that. And we saw the riots and the angst and the intensity going on. And this is even in some ways more intense by far than that. And I think it's the Saturn-Pluto conjunction. I long term, I have a positive outlook. I think we're going to see technologies excel. And now we're getting into your world. I really believe we're going to see a lot of suppressed technologies, potentially alien technologies, and things start to be revealed slowly over the next decade to 20 years. It's going to be like the Jetsons. It's going to be absolutely astounding, I think. So we'll get through this, you know, no matter who wins. And I think that's the real big, you know, picture on the radar screen is where are we going as a civilization and a world? Technology is going to serpentine around us, and it's going to have its positive effects, and it's definitely going to have its limiting negative effects. Like we'll be tracked, we'll be literally anyone owns any technology, whether it's, you know, droids, iPhones, any smartphone, or what we do on the internet as we become more and more integrated with that. I mean, there's no question we're going to be able to be surveilled, watched, and that's, you know, maybe the negative sides. The other side is I think we're going to see energies be released that are going to blow our minds. And I hope, and I'm sure you do too, that some of the lying about some of the hidden forces in the universe, particularly extraterrestrial, as well as secret stuff, starts to become more revealed. And I think this is going to bring that out. I think they're tempering people to bring that out over this next decade.
And when we talk about, you know, the perfect storm about, you know, Saturn and Jupiter and, of course, Mercury and Pluto, timed with not only an election cycle, but a pandemic and the economy, and couple all of that with the influence of the internet and social media and in the news, everything is happening all at the same time in this point in history, right? It
really is, yeah.
It is the influence of the planets in the solar system and the stars is that directly influencing the way people react on social media? They don't realize that it may be something else that is influencing their emotions and their decision making.
I think I think it's energies that really influence us. I think our free will is there, but I also think, one of the coolest things about Nadi astrology, and Jim, you've covered this stuff for years. I mean, anyone with an IQ above room temperature has seen with telescopes, infrared, etc., the craft that come in and out of the moon that are surrounding Saturn, the sun, so many other places. Now, whether they're crafts all completely or part angels, part crafts, no one really 100% knows. But one thing's for sure. I always say, forget Trinity, Neo, and Morpheus. Nadi astrology really shows this is the spiritual matrix. In fact, what I loved about that, if you get into the Rig Veda, the Artha Veda, all these ancient texts of Egypt and also in India, you start to find that they've been talking about these beings as well as celestial and extraterrestrial for a long, long time, thousands and thousands of years. And what I like about some of this stuff is it gets into the realm of Saturn isn't just this planet with some rings. It actually represents the soul's karma. Jupiter represents the force of the life breath of the soul. And the rest of the planets all are modifiers to that. And what's interesting, and this is cool stuff, they say the angularity of the Earth, the reason we have summer, winter, and fall and spring and all that is because of the angularity. The sun doesn't go south. It appears to because of our 23.5-degree angle. Mm-hmm. Well, interestingly enough, the moon, the enigma of the moon, and you've covered a lot of this stuff talking about how, the moon has all this very enigmatic stuff on it that no one can explain. It reverberates on and on. Well, here's the coolest thing about Nadi astrology. They say the path of the orbit of the moon, which, Dark Side of the Moon, the whole album was about that, always faces us. And what's interesting is the eclipses also happen when the sun and the moon and the Earth's orbits align. So plain English on that one, if you change the angularity of the Earth, you will change whether or not we even have new and full moons and eclipses where we have them. Well, the angularity of this Earth appears to be set. Why? We hear it in some of the ancient documents, particularly the Western Bible and other places. Oh, so-and-so lived to 800 years, or, Moses lived to this age, this one lived to that age. And we hear all these ancient stories. Well, in Nadi astrology, they actually call Rahu and Ketu, which is the moon's north and south nodes, which are simply the mathematical points, is what swallows up the karma or ends karma, which is what we call death. So if we get an angular change of this Earth, we're going to get a change in consciousness, which, not to go so far off on the election, but back to what we were talking about, do the celestial energies influence consciousness? I absolutely believe they do. And that's why we're seeing it so crazy right now. And I'll bet when we see the Earth's axis shift, we will see consciousness shift in a big way.
Very, very interesting. And this is the thing that I ask every astrologer. As you are looking at charts, whether it's with an individual or, Gaia, you're looking at our the influence on our planet as a whole. Yep. Do you see it coming? And then, I'm talking about you personally. You're not speaking to anybody, right? You're observing and you're seeing what is going on the planet. And do they usually line up? I mean, do you see the warning signs coming?
Well, that's a tough one to call because I don't know that any astrologer can honestly say, because I think that's something that's bigger than just the celestial influence. Those are more galactic cycles, particularly precession of the equinoxes, which is where the solar system is around the central sun, which happens about every 25,700 something years. Now, many people dispute that exact number, but NASA's proven that we are doing just under 500 million miles an hour around this central sun in an elliptical orbit. So as we pass through these different constellational influences, which is really truly where the constellations are, I think there's great changes. In terms of calendars, the one that I personally, if you were pulling me aside and said, Jeff, what do you really think? Well, my opinion is, and I don't know if I'm 100% right, but I think the Hebrew calendar might be, when that runs out, when we actually start to see this cataclysmic stuff, which is just about 200 something years from now. So it's getting closer. On the short term, I see the United States and the whole world going through some really tough stuff. No matter who wins this presidency, this next couple of years is going to be dramatic changes. Dramatic. Why? The United States Sibley chart, which, by the way, is named after Ebenezer Sibley, who was the mystic that was believed to be present when it was signed, and his name was Ebenezer Sibley, and he purportedly recorded the time. And I do have several other charts that other people use. I kind of like the Sibley. It seems to be holding water. And the United States, which is kind of the Western banking pillar, if you will, that's kind of supporting the whole Western financial structures, really is going to go through some dramatic changes over this next year and a half. Next year, Pluto, even though I know they've demoted Pluto to less than a planet, I find it's really powerful in location astrology and also in astrology of the world. In fact, the pandemic broke out. This whole COVID thing actually happened precisely right when the Saturn-Pluto conjunction happened and a Kala Sarpa Yoga kicked in, which was right in January. And that's when it really started. And then, of course, the media went nuts right around February 26th, February 27th. Guess what happened? All the planets were in between those node points I was talking about, which is the eclipse points on the Earth. It's called a Kala Sarpa Yoga, which means a serpent curse. And you could feel it, even to the people that didn't have COVID. I know I felt it. It was so heavy. We saw you on Facebook, where you did an excursion too. I mean, everybody felt it this year. It was just so heavy. And it broke right in the end of May. And what happened? The George Floyd thing happened exactly when Venus went retrograde. Then we had the Jacob Blake outbreak in Kenosha, Wisconsin, right when Mars squared Saturn. And of course, we've had this insanity with the election going on. And I think we're going to see a crescendo of things starting to move in new directions after the winter solstice this year.
Thank you so much, Jeff. Where can everybody reach out to you?
We can, best place is Jeff at jeffharman.com, HARMAN.com, Jeff at jeffharman.com.
Thank you so much. Be safe. Give our best to Camille, and we'll reach out and circle back tomorrow and see where we are at. Thank you so much.
Yeah, let's see
Jeff.
where it's at. You bet. Okay, you're welcome. Bye.
Jeff Harman, jeffharman.com, very simple. And, of course, we've got everything up there in Twitter as well. AstroCheck on Twitter is Jeff Harman. I am your host, Jimmy Church. I'll be right back after this short break. More results are in.
Hi, everybody. This is Rob Halford, the Metal God, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas.
Why is it we're not very good with our health regimen until it's too late? We don't put oil in the car until the engine blows up. When the body's out of balance, your health is not so good. Give your body some love. Log on to GetTheT.com. That's GetTheT.com. Try our Life Change Tea, which cleanses you from harmful intruders. A clean colon is one of the ways to bring the body in balance. We also carry organic supplements to help you get where you need to go. So do your body a favor. Log on to GetTheT.com. That's GetTheTEA.com. You can even visit our sales page to save some dough. Does anybody call money dough anymore? Anyway, if you're looking for short, helpful health tips, go to YouTube and punch in Health Matters Now. That's Health Matters Now. So, log on to GetTheT.com, shop, get balanced, then learn some cool tips at Health Matters Now. You'll be glad you did. That's GetTheT.com.
Your contact for current news and trending topics. KGRARadio.com.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and I only drink Fade to Black blend coffee from River Moon.
Just click on the River Moon Coffee banner at jimmychurchradio.com. Promo code F2B Blend. Let's face it, you've always wanted to do a sky watch and see your first UFO. Today, it's easy. Just get your own HP7 3B Cobalt Jimmy Church Edition night vision goggles from Hoffman's Optics. This is the same U.S. military system that I use, featuring a Generation 3 blue phosphor image tube. That's right, it's blue, not black and green. This is the only blue system in the world, and it's waterproof, lightweight, combat-proven, simple to use, and ready to go. Hoffman's Optics helped create night vision sky watches, and now you can see what everyone has been talking about each night from your own backyard. Just call 760-231-9929. That's 760-231-9929. You can click on the banners on our site or visit UFOnightvisiongoggles.com. That's UFOnightvisiongoggles.com. Go back, Lee Tepe.
This is the only way forward.
This is Fade to Black. Make contact. KGRAradio.com.
Listen, I know, and you know, that you've always wanted your first crystal skull. Or maybe you're a collector just like me, but you just don't know where to go to find the real thing. Then I met Carolyn Ford over at EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com. Carolyn is the guardian of Einstein, one of the most respected ancient crystal skulls in the world. All of her unique skulls have been imprinted sitting with Einstein in his sacred lodge and are carved from the finest gemstone and materials. Imprinting is the process of receiving the ancient wisdom from the master skull or master computer. Einstein, the ancient crystal skull. To see Carolyn's current collection of crystal skulls, just visit her store at EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com or click on the banner over on our site. Don't forget to use the promo code Jimmy at checkout to receive 10% off of your order today. That's promo code Jimmy. Finding your first or next crystal skull is easy. Just visit EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com.
Telepath is a weekly digital newsletter filled with the latest paranormal news, trending topics, and fresh articles from some of the most popular critical thinkers in the community today. Stay informed on your favorite paranormal podcasts and live streaming talk shows. Interact with the Telepath and upload your paranormal story or pics. It could be featured in an upcoming edition. Sign up right now for the free Telepath newsletter at paranormal.radio. That's paranormal.radio.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why fade to black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, our 2020 election night special event live. Watching everything play out here in real time. I want to thank Jeff Harman for coming in, and of course, Race Hobbs earlier. Jeff Harman did call President Trump the probable winner of this election, and he did that a couple of weeks ago, and that was according to the charts. And there you go. So, watching everything that is playing out right now. As I see it here, I think President Trump is going to get reelected. I don't see a path forward right now for Joe Biden. I just don't see it. It would have to be Iowa, Wisconsin, and Michigan coming into play immediately. And that, of course, includes Nevada, which hasn't announced anything.
yet, but I don't see a path forward. I don't see it playing out. Wisconsin and Michigan have to come into play. If you give Pennsylvania and Ohio to President Trump as it stands right now, and Georgia as well. North Carolina is tighter than you would think, but if it plays out right now, and you give the states where Biden is behind, and that includes Wisconsin and Michigan, that's the only way forward, putting Biden at 271 and President Trump at 267. And that is a long shot. The way that it is sitting right now, and if you flip back over to the way Fox has got this laid out, Fox has got Donald Trump right now, President Trump at 204, and Joe Biden at 227. And you are generous, and you give Minnesota, which is 71% in, 54% Trump. No, I'm sorry, Biden, and 43.9% Donald Trump. That's 237. Nevada with another 6. That's 244. And that's where the traction stops. I just don't see it. Wisconsin right now, although 74% in, 46.6% Joe Biden and 51.9% Donald Trump. That is strongly in Donald Trump's favor. Iowa, with 90% in, 6 votes in play. It doesn't seem like much, but it is big for President Trump at this point. Joe Biden at 45.8%, Donald Trump at 52.5%, and Michigan with only 53% in right now, 43.3% for Joe Biden and 54.5% for President Donald Trump. And then you swing over to Pennsylvania with only 56% in, and I get that. But we're talking about a huge lead by President Trump right now, 56.6% to Joe Biden at 41%. And if you're President Trump right now, you've got to feel pretty good at where everything sits. And that includes Georgia. North Carolina's close with 15 electoral votes in play, and a virtual tie right now. And when I say that, it's 94% of the vote is in. But Joe Biden is sitting at 48.7%, and Donald Trump at 50.1%. But that's 94% of the votes are in there. Now, of course, going out west, you have Hawaii with 4 votes and Alaska for 3. And Alaska is expected to go into Trump's corner, and Hawaii for Joe Biden. So if it plays out the way that it is right now, Donald Trump has been reelected. And I don't see another way to look at this, but that is how things are playing out right now. Now, let's swing over to, I've played with everything I can on the map, and I think Donald Trump must feel pretty good about the way things sit right now. Are we going to have to wait longer than tomorrow? Maybe not. Maybe not. Google, it's really funny. Google is still sitting at 213 with Donald Trump sitting at 118. But I just don't see the path forward. I don't. It looks like Donald Trump is going to get reelected today, and we may not have to wait until tomorrow. There you go. I want to open up the phone lines. 747-228-2051. 747-228-2051. if we swing over, I do want everybody's opinions. Where are you right now? And this is what makes America so great, is a night like this. Very exciting. Over at CNN still has Joe Biden only at 205 and President Donald Trump at 132, with everything still undecided there. They still haven't given Texas to President Trump. I don't understand that. If I look here I'm putting calls on hold. So if you hear me right now and you're going on hold, just stay right there. I will get to you in just a second. And Texas, with 79% of the vote in, Donald Trump has a pretty commanding lead over there right now. Again, I'm putting calls on hold, and I will get to everybody. And of course, we have the bottom of the hour going into the last segment, and we will see where everything sits at that point. So with that, let's grab a couple of calls here. Very interesting how it's playing out right now. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey, Jimmy, this is Max from Washington. How you doing?
Matt from Washington. Washington State?
Yeah. It's looking pretty good, like the governor might be ousted over here. So I don't know what, Fox hasn't been putting much of all that hyperbole on everything, but I think it's going to unravel a little bit more clearer in the morning when everything's done.
Well, and so what do you think? Do you think Donald Trump has been reelected?
Oh, most definitely, from what I'm seeing. And I think, they're just not wanting to paint the picture that all the polls were that far off. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I don't think the polls were that far off this time around. And what I mean by that is some things were far ahead. And if you look at the popular vote, again, Joe Biden is at 59,257,000, and Donald Trump is at 57,952,000. So he's 2 million votes behind in the popular vote. And if you do a national poll, you're going to get those kind of results where Biden is going to show a lead, but it's not a popular vote, and it's not done by polls. It is done by the Electoral College. So, and then if you look at the states individually, when you look at Wisconsin and Michigan and Iowa and Ohio and Pennsylvania and even Florida, right? Florida was even. And the way that Florida ended up going tonight, it was a virtual dead heat all the way through to the end. And it's still very close in Florida, 96% in. President Trump at 51% and Joe Biden at 48%. So it's right inside of all of these polls. So I'm not as freaked out about the polls being off as I was last time, where it just seemed to be completely skewed. But not this time around. Not this time around. Look, I'm not saying anything when it comes to this. You've got to wait till Election Day. You can't depend on polls, right? You can't do that. You can't depend on social media. You can't depend on anything. If you look at this is another thing, Matt. When you look at social media and you see what President Trump brought to the table, and these extraordinary rallies with all of these people. Well, you know what that says? It's going to be a blowout. It's certainly not a blowout. And if you go to the Democratic side and you look at the polling and you see it looks like a Democratic blowout. And it certainly wasn't that either. It is very, very close. So yeah, it's like 50-50. And in this case, the winner is President Trump. He got reelected.
Well, I'll be glad to get all this behind us. I hope there's not any violence or crazy stuff going on, and that'll be good to put behind us. I think the result that I was expecting pretty much is what happened, though. So I guess I'll let you go from that, Jimmy. But go back to Tampa and have a good one.
And be safe and be well. And we'll see you tomorrow night on our day after election night special event. Thank you so much, Matt.
Awesome. All right, have a good one.
Yeah, right on. It's pretty strange this time around. You can't say that necessarily that the polls were wrong. Isn't that interesting? Everything was right in that margin of error. And if you look at the popular vote, once again, the loser is going to have more in the popular vote. Right now, as it stands, I'm going to get to calls in just a second. Again, Google is calling it a 223 for Biden and 118 for President Trump. But this is not the true story. And the path forward right now, and there's another thing that is strange with Google. Google has not given Texas or Florida to President Trump or Georgia. And Georgia is not even close. It's 82% in, 53% to President Trump, and 46% to Biden. That's not even close. That should be called right now. North Carolina that's a tie. There are 15 electoral votes up in play here right now. 94% in, but that is pretty close. But it's leaning towards President Trump. Pennsylvania, 59% in now. 57% for President Trump, 42% for Joe Biden. And Ohio, 94% in. That's President Trump all the way, 53% to 45%. And Michigan, 54% reporting, 54% to President Trump, 43% to Joe Biden. That is leaning so much in President Trump's favor. Wisconsin, a little bit closer, not by much, but 76% in, 51.7% for President Trump, and Joe Biden at 47%. So about 5 percentage points off with 76% in. Could there be a swing? I don't see it, and I don't see it in Iowa either. With 93% in. So I just don't see a path forward for Joe Biden at this point. I just don't see it. I don't see it. Maybe you do. Let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hello, Jimmy. It's your favorite Staten Islander. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Not bad. Hey, Jimmy, question. Have you ever read the Communist Manifesto?
Nope.
Well, no, all this was happening with this COVID thing. I had old copies tucked away down my basement, so I read it, I'm not saying I'm a communist, because I believe I found the documents, I found that perfect job with the Constitution and all that. But, it's written in the 19th century as a bit of a reaction to the Industrial Revolution. There's many abuses. I think that was Karl Marx's impetus. Aside from the violence, some of the ideas not so terrible. It's like the idea of returning to nature and, the primal, the land and so on. And I'm just saying, like, the first guest, the head of KGRA, we got a lot of problems. And, maybe we all kind of need a change, but without the violence. You know what I mean?
No, I don't. But that's that's what's great about this country. You can have your opinions and your own beliefs, and there you go. No, I haven't read the Communist Manifesto. I doubt that I ever do. I am way, way too entrenched in freedoms and less government control. And I don't want it to swing the other way. Less freedoms and more government control and being told what to do. And the other thing is this. I'm a firm believer in the harder you work, the more that you can earn. Owning your own company and those freedoms that are given under a capitalistic system. So that's me. That may not be you, but that is certainly me. And I will always, maybe it's the way I was raised, but I enjoy owning my own network. I enjoy having my own freedoms and being able to say what I want, and the changes that, whatever it is, I can wake up tomorrow and do whatever I want. That is what I am about, and that will never change.
I'm with you, Jimmy, but it's just interesting, some of the ideas, I'm pigeon away. I got to go back to the 90s with Bill Cooper and all those bad then. I mean, heck, yeah, but, with all, I do my research too, so.
Yeah, like I said, and you're free to do that. I doubt William Bill Cooper would go, hey, have you read the Communist Manifesto? Yeah, it's pretty cool. I don't think Bill would go there.
I know. I have my differences with him as well, but he was very informative, especially about a bubonic plague that was needed to carry out their globalist agenda. If you listen to Behold the Pale Horse, that's very interesting when he brings out those points in the Club of Rome and all that stuff. So,
there you go.
He said a lot of good things, but if I was going to sit down with him today, I'd probably disagree. Although I did talk to him once. I called him, and he gave me some advice for a shortwave antenna once, believe it or not, back in the day.
Well, there you go, Joe. Thank you so much, my friend, and we'll see you tomorrow night right here on Fade to Black.
You got it there, brother. Go Begley Teppy.
Yeah, and be safe, man. Absolutely just be safe out there. I don't know what's going to go on over the next 24 hours, and that's the other thing. That's the great unknown here. So again, I just stress with everybody, just behave, be safe, and let's not freak out over the next 24, 48 hours. That part I'm not cool with. No, man. No, I don't know what's going to happen. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling? Oh, my bad. That was my bad. I clicked on the wrong click. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey, Jimmy, this is Carl from Toronto.
Hi, Carl from Toronto. How you guys doing up there?
Oh, we're all living the dream up here. How are you, Jimmy?
Well, you guys are looking down south with great interest, I'm sure. What do you think is playing out?
Well, I'm normally quite liberal, but I got to say, this is the one time that if I was American, I probably would have voted for Trump, because there's just something off about that Biden guy.
Here we go again. America gets to speak, every 4 years, and they make the decisions, and that's what is so awesome about this country.
Yep. I got to say that I agree with you about that.
Now, how do you guys, I'm looking at the popular vote right now, Joe Biden at 60 million and President Trump at 58.7. And, the popular vote is one thing, and then we have this electoral college that decides things every 4 years. How do you guys do it up in Canada?
So we have this kind of strange method called first past the post. And so there's like a set number of votes that any candidate needs to achieve, and as soon as they kind of reach that threshold, they've got it.
Okay, so it's not it's who gets there first, not necessarily who gets the most votes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Don't exactly quote me on that. I could be wrong, but that's how I think it works.
Oh, okay. There you go. And I've only got about 1 minute left. But what about the way the media is playing up all of this civil unrest that is going to be unleashed? Are you guys concerned about that up in Canada?
I kind of was when they first started talking about it, but I never truly understood it. Was the civil unrest supposed to come if Biden had won or if Trump had won? Or was it just regardless?
Yeah, I felt like it's going to be regardless. But it's been such a strange year when it comes to this. I don't know. And the way that it's playing out right now with it looks like Donald Trump's going to get reelected. I don't know any other way to look at it, even though the numbers say 223 to 145 and whatever these numbers are. I don't think it's accurate. But that being said, if we have unrest tomorrow because Donald Trump is elected, then that's going to leave it wide open for everybody to say that, hey, see, this is a left liberal issue here. This isn't the right causing these problems. And it's going to leave it wide open for that. And then we also have the issues with the Senate and how that's going to play out too as well. And with that, I got to take a break, and we'll see tomorrow. We're going to go live again with our election night the day after. So we'll see you tomorrow night.
Understood. Thank you, Jimmy. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too. Absolutely. And love it when Canada checks in. And the thing is, and this is very serious, we share a huge border. And so many things similar between our two countries, going all the way down to people, right? And Canada always needs to be concerned, as we are, with what goes on up north. And with that, I want to remind everybody that last year, listen to me, last year, websites shared over 100 trillion pieces of personal data. This is data taken on users of various websites, just like the one you are on right now as you are listening to me. Now, I don't like being spied on by advertisers. I don't like being spied on by anybody, which is why I use Virtual Shield. Okay, it's very simple. If you want to browse the internet anonymously and securely like I do, just visit Virtual Shield, virtualshield.com/fade to black. Or you can click on the link right now in the video description box right now in this video. All right, click. It's right now. It's right there below us. Get Virtual Shield VPN for free today. I am your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black. Tonight is our Election Night 2020 special event on the Game Changer Network and KGRA, The Planet. I want to thank Jeff Harman for coming in earlier, and, of course, Race Hobbs from KGRA. On the Game Changer Network, that's right, Inc. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. You can follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. I'm going to keep the phone lines open, 747-228-2051. The number's just changed right now, and we've got some more updates. We'll get all to it right after this short break. Man, I'm tired. Long day. I'll be right back. Stay with me.
Hey, what up, y'all? It's your girl Vivica Fox here, and you are listening to my boy, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and I take Life Change Tea supplements every single day. It's what I do. Click on their banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, River Moon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black Blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
Hello, my name is Billy Carson, and I am a best-selling author and the founder of ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. Together with my team, we have built an all-new conscious streaming TV platform designed with every family member in mind. If you have ever wanted to travel the world and attend lectures and workshops from your favorite speakers but weren't able to, look no further. ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. There are dozens of workshops and lectures from speakers you know and love. We have also included amazing categories to assure that your consciousness is entertained and elevating on a daily basis. Amazing interviews, ancient history, ascension knowledge, wisdom teachings, documentaries, conspiracies, mysteries, health and fitness, conscious cooking, meditations, finance, yoga, and so much more. To start your free trial on any mobile device or computer, surf to ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. That's Forbidden Knowledge with the number 4, ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. Again, visit ForbiddenKnowledge.tv today.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app. Free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Erica, Brittany, Gabby, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRARadio.com.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight is our election night special event, 2020. Crazy stuff going down. All right. Here we go. The latest update that I have is Ohio has now been given to President Trump. And according to Google, it's still only 145 for President Trump and 223 for Joe Biden. I just don't see a path forward as things are playing out here. Now, the reports are in Pennsylvania, the reason why that hasn't been given to President Trump at this point, with 64% reporting, Philadelphia is still in play. Are there enough votes? Now, I'm looking here for Pennsylvania. We've got 2.5 million votes for President Trump, 1.8 million for Joe Biden. That's a 650,000 vote lead. Is that in play in Philadelphia? I don't see it. And they're doing the same thing with Michigan right now. They are keeping Michigan in play for the same reasons. I don't know. Is there 300,000 votes available in Michigan? Right now, there's 57% reporting with Donald Trump at 53.9%, Joe Biden at 44%. It looks like Nevada has finally started reporting, only 1% in. It is leaning Republican right now, too, as well. And I just don't see a path forward. Right now, I just don't see it. I don't see it. We may end up waiting till tomorrow. We're going to be off the air tonight at 10 o'clock, and we'll see how everything plays out by 10 o'clock. Let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Good evening, Jimmy. It's Eric, the Weakening Man.
Hey, man. How are you tonight?
Well, I'm hearing what you're saying, and logically, I'm agreeing with you. But two words that we can't rule out is the shenanigan factor.
And what's the shenanigan factor?
The shenanigan factor is, I think, what a lot of us maybe in the back of our minds are wondering, what kind of cheating could potentially happen, let's say in states like Florida or Texas, or where these huge electoral, values are there, and they, for some reason, they haven't given it to Trump yet. Like we've been talking about, 91% whatever, and he's leading by this many percentage points. But I'm just not ready to I don't want to subscribe to your logic quite yet, is what I'm saying. Even though I want to agree with you, I'm not ready to agree with you, because I think there's some cheating that could still happen, and that's why all this panic about potential unrest is still lingering. And so hopefully it all goes smooth, and somebody's elected, and we have civil civility, people behave, and so on and so forth. But I'm not convinced yet that we're out of that boat yet.
Yeah, I'm looking at again, Wisconsin and Michigan and North Carolina have to fall Biden's way, and of course Pennsylvania. The votes that are coming in right now. Joe Biden's making a little bit of a gain in Wisconsin. I'm talking about 1/10 of a percentage point right now, where he's going up, but there's 79% of the vote in, and he's got to gain about 100,000 votes in Wisconsin to win. But there is 20%, 21% of the votes are left. Is it possible? I don't know where the pockets are. The same thing in Michigan. Biden is closing in a little bit with 58% in. Biden is now at 44%, and President Trump has gone down to 53.9%. And it is, slow gains, but you're looking at 300,000 votes that need to be gained in Michigan. I don't see where it's going to come from. Pennsylvania, 64% in. Biden is way behind, man. I just don't see 650,000 votes coming out of Philadelphia.
What about Florida? I mean, I hear where you're going, but let's focus on these Florida and Texas, because obviously, if it somehow like I said, the shenanigan factor kicks in, and suddenly all these votes come pouring in out of nowhere, who knows where. That could change it all completely.
Yeah, it possible in Texas. There's only 79% of the vote in. Google hasn't given Texas to President Trump yet. 79% in, with Biden at 46.3% and President Trump at 52.3%. And again, only 79% of the vote is in. Is there enough to gain? Let me see here. About 600,000 votes is what would have to happen there for Joe Biden. That's Texas. Florida, again, closer, but 96% are in. 96%. And is that enough? And they are 400,000 votes apart in Florida. Can you squeeze that out of? Now, look, that's 10 million. 11 million people voting. So is that 4% enough to make up 400,000 votes? Well, that would be if Biden won every single one with what is remaining. I don't know.
Okay, so let's say it goes the way that you're projecting, or at least you believe it's going. How many electorals is Trump going to end up with? Do you see it cut? Just roughly, I mean, what are you looking at? He's going to get more than 270, obviously, based on what you're thinking, right?
Yeah. Well, see, if we do it like this, right? Okay. Let's see. Okay, so we give Arizona. Let's give Texas to Trump. Florida to Trump. I'm just doing the interactive map right here. Georgia to Trump.
What about Georgia?
Yeah, Georgia right now. Well, hold on. Ohio is Trump. Iowa, Trump. Minnesota goes to Biden. Nevada, let's give that to Biden. Colorado to Biden. That's 239 to 232. Now, let's, if we go with the current trend, that's Wisconsin and Michigan and Pennsylvania. Now, let's do this up here. 243 to 258. And so Pennsylvania goes to Trump. That's 278 for President Trump. If that goes to Biden, that's only 263 to Biden and 258 for Trump. And then you bring in North Carolina, that's 278 for Biden, 258 for Trump. But if that goes Republican, that's 263 Trump, 273 for 263 for Biden, 273 for President Trump. Now, if we swing any of these states in the other direction, like Wisconsin, Biden wins. But I just don't see it that way. I'm just talking about the way the votes are. If Michigan goes to Biden, then that's 279 to 257 to President Trump. So so
the shenanigan factor is still lingering, and if one of these states that you just mentioned, switches or flips a little bit, that it could change things.
Yeah, it's narrow, man. It looks like again, Joe Biden's got a little bit more of a gain in Wisconsin. He's now at 47%. President Trump is at 51.4%. With 80% of the vote in, Biden just gained another percentage, a tenth of a point. Michigan, 58% in. Biden at 43.9%, and Trump down to 54%. Pennsylvania, looking at this again, these numbers, I'm starting to get cross-eyed. Joe Biden at 41.8%, Donald Trump at 57%, with 64% of the vote in. North Carolina, again, sitting right there with 94% of the vote, a virtual tie. Right now, Joe Biden at 49%, Donald Trump at 50%. And they are about 60,000 votes apart. And but 94% of the voting is reported. Georgia's a little bit further apart with 83% in. So that looks like that's going Trump's way. Montana, 57% of the vote in, but that's leaning way in Trump's direction. They are only about 22,000 votes apart, with Trump in the lead at 50% of the vote, 57% of the vote in at this point. Nevada's still in play. Nevada, it's only 2% of the vote in, so that's too far apart to call. I don't know. Maybe Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin swing Biden's way overnight. Well, Wisconsin again. Biden creeping up. Let's see. Yeah, same thing in Michigan. Creeping in the other direction.
Are you going to try to stay awake? Are you, I know you're going to pour some more River Moon coffee. You're going to stay awake as long as possible, right?
I think all of us are in that boat right now. It's so bizarre. And North Carolina, which hasn't moved in a while, 94% of the vote in, and they've been sitting at 94% for about an hour. And there are 15 electoral votes in play here, and a virtual tie. It's 49% to 50%. So I don't know, man.
It's too early to call.
Now, what do you think? Now, you're up on the coast in California. You're not going to be dealing with any civil unrest in your community. But what do you think is going to unravel over the next 24, 48 hours in this country?
Oh, there'll definitely be, some spots, I'm sure, probably the same kind of spots that we've been hearing about with the Antifa type people that are, those kind of people that are out there. They're not the true Black Lives Matter supporters, the fake Black Lives Matter supporters. It seems like they got a whole nother agenda. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure some shenanigans are going to go down, no doubt. It's not going to change anything though. Whatever they decide, it's people are going to freak out. I like you said earlier though. I don't, or the other guy said, I don't see the Trump people freaking out as bad as the Biden people would freak out. If Biden loses, I think that side seems they've been pissed for 4 years now, and then I've never seen I'm not sitting here sticking up for Trump, but I've never seen a president attack continuously. It's amazing that Trump was able to get any work done at all, because it seems, he was constantly on the defense, battling with all these, with the impeachment, this, that, and the other. If the guy does win and he gets 4 more years and he knows that's it, 4 years, it seems to me like he would have more freedom to maybe get more things done and not have to worry so much about trying to battle the other side to try to maintain control. You know what I'm saying? Do you see where I'm going with that?
Yeah, and CNN has finally given Florida to Trump, and 215 to 165 according to CNN. Google's got Joe Biden at 223 with Donald Trump at 174. And if we go over to Fox is, I think, a little bit more realistic here at this point. 237 for Joe Biden and 210 for President Trump. With these, Wisconsin is it's getting a little bit closer for Joe Biden. Not much. We're talking about tenths of a percentage point. It's swinging that way. Michigan is still the same, 44% Biden, 53.9% for President Trump. Exactly 305,000 votes apart at this point, with 59% in. Let's take a look at Pennsylvania real quick before I let you go. 64% in, Joe Biden at 41.8. This is all according to Fox. And President Trump at 57%. North Carolina still hasn't moved, 50 to 49%, with 94% in. I guess they've given up for the night, and they will continue the vote count in the morning. And Georgia with 83% in, 45.6%. Joe Biden, 53.1% for President Trump. So, Nevada still only 2% in. Montana, only 57% in, with 3 votes on the line. But I suspect that Montana's going to go Republican. This is very interesting. It's I don't have another way to look at it. Oh, also, before I let you go. The current run for the Senate, according to CNN, it's 44 and 44, and that's according to CNN. If let me see what. Okay, so Fox has got 45 for the Democrats, 46 for the Republicans. And according to Google, it's 43 for the Democrats, 46 for the Republican Party. Again, 3 different numbers, 3 different projections. Everybody is a bit off, and it's really interesting to me to see CNN running as conservative of numbers as they are right now. Very interesting. Thank you so much, Eric, and we'll see you tomorrow night on the show. Be safe out there.
Okay, buddy. Take care.
Yeah, thank you. And, also very, very interesting. Eric is saying shenanigans. I've got a lot of calls on hold. I will try to get to everybody here tonight. But he's saying shenanigans are still in play. If we go with shenanigans, and I'm looking here, if we go with shenanigans, wow, well, it's, I'd say that North Carolina is one of the most interesting situations here. Pennsylvania, it looks like Biden's making a little bit of ground late at night. But again, these are tenths of a percentage point. The same thing in Michigan and the same thing in Wisconsin. Everything is just kind of staying stable with slight gains by Biden, but it's just not going to be enough. Let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey, Jimmy. Mike from Vegas.
Hey, Mike from Vegas. How are you?
I'm well, thanks. How you doing?
What's taking you guys so long to get your tallies in tonight?
It's so funny. I was on a road trip. I just got back home, and I was listening to you on the way, and I was sort of wondering the same thing myself. I have no idea what's going on. But don't tell anyone. I was texting my brother while I was driving.
No, okay. Yeah, I won't. Your secret's safe with me.
There we go. Let me start with the most important thing. When you do, whether it's the home fries or the hash browns.
Yep.
You got to slather on just a whole bunch of that country sausage gravy.
You got to. Either way.
Yeah, that's either way. Yeah.
Either way. No, you're right about that.
Yeah. So my brother tells me that, because I was texting basically telling him what you're saying. He said the reason with Pennsylvania, and I think Michigan as well, is because they have a lot of mail votes, and they're expecting those to be heavily weighted towards Biden. So that would be the reason they're not calling it, because they don't think that what's going on right now is going to be consistent.
Interesting. And Pennsylvania just took another couple of percentage points in favor of Joe Biden. He's up to 42%. Donald Trump went down to 56.9%. But again, we're talking about 700,000 votes apart. And
yeah, I mean, I think they were like 40% of the vote was mail-in votes, and I think they're just starting to come in. So I'm not saying one way or another, but that was when I told my brother it looked like a comfortable lead. He said, "Don't bank on that, because when these mail-in votes come, the equation's going to change." But my big takeaway from this whole thing is, I don't now. I just don't believe anything that the media tells me. They've been telling us for 3 months that the last one I saw was that Trump had a 4% chance of winning. And I don't know if this is conspiracy or it's what they want to believe, or if they think they tell us that enough times that we're going to believe it and just go along with the program. I don't know. But this is 2 elections in a row where, they just said there's no way Trump can win. And even if he doesn't win, they were close enough to being wrong that I think they've lost a lot of credibility here.
Well, I looked at everything going into this. Again, I don't have a dog in this race. Well, we all have a dog in this race, but what I mean,
exactly.
But for me, it was just like, let the best man win. Let's let this thing happen. And I was looking at all the media reports, but I'm also following social media and my friends and family and kind of gauge. And I gotta say, man, it was just a coin toss. There was just no way, with the way that the polling was playing out, and you go with a margin of error. And this is the other thing with polling. This is not polling from 30 years ago when your home phone rings and you pick it up and it's Gallup. Today, it's cell phones. Who picks up a phone from a phone call from an unknown number? Nobody. So who is answering these polls, and how accurate is it? That's my first point. And the second point is, and I'm giving this to the pollsters. This is where I'm giving them credit. If you go with the popular vote, and I'm looking now, it's 62.3 million for Joe Biden. It's 60.7 million for President Trump. And you base it on that alone, and you're looking at a few percentage points leaning in Joe Biden's favor. That is within the error of a national poll. So I'm okay with it. I'm not 100% buying into it, but I'm just looking at the popular vote here. So, yeah, but we're dealing with an electoral college. And the other thing, and you are absolutely right, Mike, I can't agree with you more. We dealt with a pandemic this year. People are hunkered down in their homes, and they went to mail-in ballots for the first time. We've had a huge amount, 100 million people voting before Election Day. There's only 350 million people in the country, right? So if 100 million people voted in advance, we've got to deal with that. And is this what we're dealing with in Pennsylvania, in North Carolina, in Georgia, in Wisconsin, and Michigan? I don't know. But we're certainly going to find out.
I think Pennsylvania was one of the states where they said they were not even allowed to start counting the mail-in votes until, I think, today. But, I think a lot of the states already started counting the mail-in votes before, but it's in Pennsylvania they weren't even allowed to start counting.
Right.
So they got a lot of mail-in votes yet to be counted.
Well, there you go. I want to thank you, Mike, for taking the time to call in tonight. An historic day, and it looks like we're not going to have the results tonight. We're just not going to do it.
No, I don't think so. I think there's going to be some lawyering up too before all the smoke clears.
And we will see you tomorrow on the day after.
Thanks, Jimmy. Have a good night.
You too. Thank you, Mike. And
go back on Teppy.
And tell everybody in Nevada to hurry up, okay? I'll
we
talk
kind
to
of
you,
do
man.
things our own way here. So, all right, take care.
Have a great night. And with that, I'm going to do a quick run around before. I've only got 60 seconds before the end of the show. I want to thank everybody. What a great night tonight. Historic night. And this is more or less what I expected, and that is no clear-cut winner tonight, and it's still up in the air. The latest is, according to Fox, Joe Biden 237 to President Donald Trump 210. According to Google Election Tracker, 223 for Joe Biden, 174 for President Donald Trump. And if we go over to CNN is 215 for Joe Biden, 171 for President Trump. They still haven't given Texas to President Trump. CNN still has Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Georgia, Texas, Nevada, Montana, and Arizona all up in the air right now. And I wanted to take one quick look over at Google. They still haven't given Texas to President Trump. I don't know why. Nevada, Wisconsin, Michigan, and, of course, Pennsylvania. Absolutely interesting. And if I swing over to Fox, which I think is about the most accurate, they still have Nevada, Montana, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Georgia in play. They have given Texas, of course, and Florida to President Trump. They just gave Montana, as I'm speaking here, to President Trump. That just flashed on. That's 3 votes, so that puts Donald Trump at 213 and Joe Biden at 237. With that, I've got to get out of here. We're going to continue this show tomorrow night with election night the day after. I am your host, Jimmy Church. What a great night tonight, an historic night, not only for the United States, but for the rest of the world. Fade to Black's executive producer is Rita Camarion. Show is produced by Renee Hilton J. Palm, and I have absolutely 100% lost my notes. Dennis and Kevin. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vitola, Mark D. Kovar. Webmasters, Drew the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy, SpaceboyMusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network. Syndication is KGRA, The Planet. This broadcast owned and copyrighted 2020 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network, Inc. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Until tomorrow night, It's going to be a crazy day tomorrow. I want everybody to be safe, and we'll see you for election night the day after.